Seekers is the place for me. Hello everyone, this is SaharaDrac of SCLegacy.com, and I'm casting a game today between myself, playing the Orange Terrans, because when I play practice games or tournament games or whatever, I play orange, because that's my favorite color. Bet you didn't know that, now you do. And I'm playing against Dejai. Dejai is another SC Legacy staff member. He is on the strategy staff. He helps with the strategy newsletter we write. And, yeah. So he just wanted some practice in TVT, and typically I wouldn't commentate a practice game, because in practice games you kind of are trying out builds. You're just getting practice, basically. But, I don't know. I thought the game would be very educational, because I think I've gotten like four messages in my YouTube inbox about TVT this week and help with TVT. I also get whispered on VNet from strangers asking about TVT, and so I thought this would be a very helpful video for TVT. TVT is a match that evolved quite a bit since the beta. It kind of got pigeonholed into this bad rep because everyone just went tank Viking. Tank Viking, tank Viking, tank Viking, tanks to shoot, Vikings to see. I'm sure you know the drill. But here's me checking around my base, because if there's one thing I hate, it's getting proxied. Oh mama, I hate getting proxied. So I'm making sure I don't do that, and I totally recommend you guys do that too, because even though it doesn't always happen, it feels good to stop cheese. And when you stop cheese, you feel like a man. You're like, yeah. But anyways, as I was talking about TVT, it's become a much more dynamic matchup once people realized, well, Marauders are good at everything in this game. Maybe they're good at killing tanks too. Like, maybe they're cost efficient in that. Yep, they are. So, Marauders started getting thrown in against these tank pushes, and then as people started getting, people started countering that, it just developed into a very fleshed out, very developed matchup. So I like TVT a lot now. I used to hate it. But you can see Dejai went for a different opening than me. You can see here, I went. Actually, you can't see because our bases look identical now. But since this is an educational video, let me back it on up for you. Here he is on 13, going refinery first, and then as well, I'd like to see him put two guys in gas since he's going refinery first. Come on, brother. He's too busy worrying about his SCV in my base. But refinery first and then barracks, and this is obviously to get gas faster, to get things like cloaked banshees. Whereas I did, your standard 10 supply, 12 racks, 13 refinery build, which I still stand by, even though the refinery before racks is very popular these days. I just like, I like the extra SCV I get. I like having the marine early. I like all that sort of stuff. And speaking of the marine early, I'd really like 50 minerals to do that. There it is. So I'm going to scout out now, and don't know where he is yet, but I will soon. And his barracks finishes about that much. When my marine, well, actually I could have started the marine a little earlier if I had managed my stuff better. So my marine would be done when his barracks finishes. That's the main difference. But of course he's sitting on, like 150 gas because he just built that factory, and I am, making a second barracks, but I'm only at 100 gas now, so if I wanted to start my factory, it would start just now. And he obviously is getting a head start on the tech. That's what that refinery before racks allows you to do. So yeah, that's opening to think about if you want a Banshee rush, if you want to get really fast siege mode, if you want to just tech. Think about that refinery first. Not my style, not saying I won't ever do it, but I haven't done it lately. Tournaments tomorrow, our 64-player SC Legacy tournament, organized by this man himself. This is the organizer of the tournament, so you want to get a little practice in before tomorrow. And thanks to everyone who went and signed up. We did fill up at 64 players, so that's cool. Thank you. And I am opting for a 2 racks late factory build, and I like this build, especially this. Oh yeah, you'll see a lot of players put a bunker here. I think Dejai does it at some point. But to put a bunker right here, it kind of seems like a weird random spot, like in the dead center with these holes at the top of the ramp. The reason is because this barracks will be able to shoot down before anything can get vision unless he has air units. So basically, if he makes a small push, like the 5 Marine, 1 Hellion push was very popular. this bunker would get a lot of shots off before they were able to come up and see this bunker. So that's the reason for that bunker placement. And I'm doing a more... Actually, we had played a few practices before this. I'd beaten him a couple times. And I wanted to try something a little different from my typical, because my typical TVT is a 1-1-1. But here I wanted to try a 2 barracks, late factory, late starport for a little extra bio support. Just because I know Banshees are going to come in most TVTs. I know some sort of air stuff is going to happen, and I kind of wanted to see, and this is what practice games are for, is to see how stuff works out, but I kind of wanted to see how extra Marines would help me, basically, in that situation. If it could save me from buying some turrets I would have bought before, maybe allowed me to keep stuff out of my base a little longer until the siege mode got finished on his end, Basically, this is an experimental build for me. So here's a Hellion coming out and a Viking. And I do have 3 Marauders, 4 Marines, and a Hellion. And I actually... here comes a Banshee right here, and obviously I see that. So I see it there, and right as I'm about to push out, I'm like, oh, I guess I better go over here. And actually, he doesn't harass with it for quite some time, so actually I should have pushed, but of course I had to worry about the Banshee right outside my base. So engineering bay is finished, and I am throwing down turrets, 1 in the mineral line and 1 from where I saw the Banshees headed towards. Ideally, you'd like 1 more, maybe over here, but I'm very stingy about my static defenses. I don't want to spend money on static defenses at all, because every bit of money I spend on static defenses is another unit I don't have, but fortunately it is a necessary evil, as I'm sure most of you are aware. And got a little bit of phlegm in my throat, and sorry to gross you out, but now I'm rubbing it all over my body as I commentate. No, that's not true. I'm not doing that. But so now I feel kind of safe with the Viking out and the couple turrets, so I'm going to go ahead and try and push out now. Obviously, this push is not going to be that great anymore, because I spent all my money on static defenses and my army didn't grow. So this is the same push it would have been about a minute ago. And I think a minute ago it would have been really effective. But now, you got the bunker, it's just not as good as it was. But I got really worried about the... oh yeah, just to show you what happened here with the Banshees. Let me rewind one more time. So as I'm pushing out, he flies in. The turret's going to take some nice shots along with the Viking. I didn't get good coverage here. It's not a huge deal because it's just a couple. He decloaks, then recloaks. Viking should have shot that, but I'm trying to manage over here. And so he's going to try and shoot my starport. I'm just going to send a couple guys to repair. It's not going to really be a big deal. He's decides to save his energy and get out, because I would have scanned or put down a turret eventually. It really wouldn't have done much. So there's just 3 Banshees sent back for now. And as you can see, this push didn't work out so well. I run up here, opt to focus down the bunker, and then get repelled. So at the same time I'm repelling Banshees, I'm also pushing, and that's a good idea. Obviously it didn't pan out, but if they're committed over here with a lot of resources, it typically means they're open right here, and if you have a bunch of Marauders and stuff, they can't hit air anyway, so you should go try and put some pressure on your opponent at the same time. So here he comes up here, and again, there's that ramp. You can see, yeah, see how he can't see up there until he comes up the ramp, or he flies an air unit over there. But he's going to back off because, yeah, that wouldn't have gone too well with my Viking and this bunker there. So, getting a Raven out now. The Raven is such a stress reliever in TVT. I can't stress to you enough how important this unit is in TVT. A little bit undervalued before, but not only does it have the... you don't have to worry about your turret's range for detection. You can just fly a Raven and be safe from these cloaked Banshees. And the point defense drone will instantly win you a Viking battle, even if you have fewer Vikings than your opponent. So, a very, very worthwhile unit is the Raven. I highly recommend it, especially if you know your opponent has starports. Or starport, as it were. What else is going on? I'm just getting this reactor and continuing to do this bio thing, not really emphasizing the mech. I don't even have siege mode on this tank. I just wanted to do a little extra plus to armored. And when you feel safe and when you feel secure, it's always a good idea to expand. Right now, I'm not too terribly worried about anything he can throw me at this point. so I went ahead and threw down a command center. A lot of people, a lot of I guess lower level players really don't understand what an expansion gives you. An expansion is basically a long-term investment in a game. Okay, like you know you're not going to win the game with this. You know you can't just go kill. You know you can't just go kill him. There's no way it's going to happen. He's got at least something similar to you. So what you're doing is investing in the future of your game by expanding. And I know this sounds so basic and so simple to a lot of you, but move your SCVs. Thank you. But when you know you're not going to die right this second, and you know you can't win right this second, it's always good to boost your economy, because then you can win. As you can see, Dejai has not started his expansion yet. He's instead opting to get these tanks going and getting another starport. He's opting to one base, which, of course, if he pushed earlier, could end up with some really good results. But if I do survive, I'm going to have a huge advantage. And look at this horrible timing. Right as the tanks get there in siege, I try to move out. And yeah, if I had moved out like 10 seconds earlier, the middle would have been mine, and this would have been a much harder game for him. But now the middle is staunchly claimed by him. Yes, staunchly. This is a very sweet spot for a tank right here, especially if you have siege mode, which I do, especially if you hit E on your tank. Like, if you hit E on your tank, thank you. Just a really good shot in right here. I mean, look at that perfect coverage of this. I mean, he can't approach from here, can't sneak in anything. Yeah, it's a really good spot. And this is the little building that changed the whole game for me. This buddy right here, the sensor tower, vastly undervalued, vastly underrated building. So powerful. Right now, what's my weakness? It's a lot like a Terran's weakness in TVZ, isn't it? He has a much more mobile force other than these tanks. He has these Banshees. And here I am going to try. I see he only has one Viking, so I'm going to snipe it down. If I had any semblance of good micro at all, I would have saved both Vikings and then went and repaired it, but I am a horrible, horrible player, so that's not how it panned out. But anyways, the sensor tower, my big weakness, and this applies heavily in TVZ too, which is something I need to use in TVZ more, but this basically gives me an early warning system for Banshee Harass / Muta Harass. Obviously, I have a bit of a weak spot over here. You could fly all the way around, but you get the idea. I really should throw another one down here, but I'm really low on gas right now, so I don't do that. But if you take a look at my vision, I now know, okay, like if I see this stuff moving around, like I know I gotta act, you know, and again, it seems so simple. Everyone knows what a sensor tower is, but I think it's one of those buildings with a lot of untapped potential on our server that I recommend everybody start using. It's a little expensive. It's 100 gas, but it builds as fast as a turret, and it's very, very powerful. So there's the expansion from Dejai. It goes down a little bit later than mine. And if you're going to wait on your expansion, obviously he knows I'm expanding. I think he knows I expanded. Yeah, he knows I expanded. If he knows I'm expanding and he's choosing to not, he should definitely... I mean, obviously that's money I'm putting into not army. So if you're choosing to one base and you see your opponent expanding, you need to go try to push. Otherwise, you're just letting him have this free expansion, and then you didn't really do anything. So, you know what? Why did you one base if you're not going to push? Basically, is what I'm saying. So I'm getting Banshees now because I see a lot of siege tanks. My plan is to win the Viking battle and then have my Banshees free run all over the tanks. That's the basic game plan right now, while continuing to make a nice little bio mix. I'd like to make medevacs too, but I just don't have the income or the starports for that. So I'm satisfying myself with Vikings for now with bio, and not really hitting the tanks too heavily anymore because I am instead taking a little page from Nada's book. I don't know if you guys watched Nada play Idra. I think it was Idra. May have been someone else. But Nada was playing StarCraft 2, and he did this brilliant play with TVT and... obviously it wasn't Idra if it was TVT. But yeah, it was TVT, and he had this big tank container at his base, and he used nukes to basically force the tanks to unsiege and move. And it was a really cool way to... really cool, innovative way to get those damn tanks out of your face.